Good morning, children. Now I'll complete the lesson for you all. Hope you all have read till where I have taken. Now, as these three people came into the house, this man Frampton thought that they were ghosts, because this young girl had told him a story that they had gone 3 years before and had never come back, and that window was kept open for the hunting people to come in. So when he saw these three men coming in, he thought they were ghosts, and so he ran away from the house. So as he was running, a cyclist was coming in the opposite direction. So the cyclist thought that this man will run into my cycle now. So the cyclist, what did he do? He moved to one side near the hedge or the bushes. And this husband is asking the Mrs. Appleton, who was that man who bolted out as we came up? Who was that man who bolted out means who was that man who ran out of the house now as we were coming? So what does Mrs. Appleton say? A most extraordinary man, a Mr. Nuttall, said Mrs. Appleton, could only talk about his illnesses and dashed off without a word of goodbye or apology when you arrived. One would think he had seen a ghost. So she tells her husband, a most extraordinary man. He is not at all looking like an ordinary man. Something is wrong with him, and he was only talking about his sickness, and he did not even tell me goodbye when he was running out, or even sorry, because he did not wait to see the husband and the two brothers. So she is telling, somebody would think that he had seen a ghost. I expect it was the spaniel, said the niece calmly. He told me he had a horror of dogs. So what if the girl was very cunning? She had made up all that story, and when Mr. Nuttall ran away, she said that she made another story now. Why he ran away? Because he was afraid of the dog, she said. The spaniel is the dog there. So she made up another story now. What is that? He told me he had a horror of dogs, very frightened of dogs, this man was. That is what the young girl told her aunt. He was once hunted into a cemetery somewhere on the banks of the Ganges by a pack of stray dogs, and had to spend the night in a newly dug grave with the creatures snarling and grinning and foaming just above him, enough to make anyone lose their nerve. So again, second time she is making up a story that this Frampton Nuttall was very much frightened of the dogs, because he had a very terrifying experience with the dogs. One day when he was in the cemetery, cemetery is the burial place, isn't it? And there will be graves there, isn't it? So on the banks of the Ganges, a group of stray dogs, that is street dogs, came to attack him, and he had to spend the night. He was very frightened. He spent the night in one newly dug grave with the dogs around him. The dogs were snarling at him, barking at him, and waiting to bite him. So enough to make anyone lose their nerve. So when you see some dogs around you trying to come and bite you, won't you feel frightened? So that is what happened to Mr. Frampton Nuttall, said the young girl. She had made up the story to escape from her aunt. Romance at short notice was her speciality. Romance at short notice means ability to make up dramatic stories in no time. See how quickly she made up another story. So she had that ability to make up stories. And it was written by Saki or H.H. Munro, that is Hector Hugo Munro. He writes in the name of Saki. Read the lesson, children. Now we'll do the worksheet. Read these statements. Write fact for statements that are true, and fiction for details that Vera makes up. Fact is the true statements, and fiction is the statements or the story made up by Vera. Number 1, Mrs. Appleton's husband and two brothers had gone hunting. So that is true, isn't it? So it is a fact. Second one, Mrs. Appleton's husband and two brothers went hunting 3 years ago and never returned. So that was the story made up by Vera. So it was not true, it is fiction. Third one, Mrs. Appleton keeps the window open because she cannot accept the fact that her husband and brothers are no more. That is also fiction. Number 4. Mrs. Appleton's husband had carried a white waterproof coat when he went hunting 3 years ago. That is also fiction. 5. Ronnie sings, "Bertie, why do you bound?" to annoy Mrs. Appleton. So Ronnie is the name of her brother, and he always sings, "Bertie, why do you jump?" to make Mrs. Appleton angry. So that is a fact. 6. Frampton is scared of dogs. That is fiction. 7. Frampton has a nervous nature. That is a fact. He was having a nerve cure, isn't it? He was undergoing a nerve cure. Now, C. Tick the correct options. Number 1. Frampton's sister gave him letters of introduction because four options are given there. A. Thought he would never meet people otherwise. B. Thought the people there were nice. C. Could not introduce him to them in person. D. Had lived there 4 years ago. So A is the answer. She thought he would never meet people otherwise. Second one. Vera confirms twice that Mr. Nuttall does not know much about her aunt because C is the answer, wanted to make sure that he would believe her story. Third one, when Mrs. Appleton talked about her husband and brothers, Frampton found it perfectly horrible because he thought they were dead. B is the answer. Now answer these questions with reference to the context. Number 1, Frampton wondered whether Mrs. Appleton, the lady to whom he was presenting one of the letters of introduction, came into the nice division. What is the nice division? The nice division refers to the people of the village, yes, who were ready to help him. Yes, according to his sister, they were good people. Now B, who gave Frampton the letters of introduction? Who gave him the letters? His sister. C, why was he given these letters of introduction? She knew that if she had not given these letters of introduction, he would not go and meet anyone. He will be sitting all alone in his village, in the room in the village. 2, he made the last statement in a tone of distinct regret. Who is he? He refers to Frampton Nuttall. And what statement did he make? He made the statement that his sister had given him letters of introduction. C, why did he make the statement in a tone of regret? He did not want to meet anyone. He was a very nervous man. He wanted to sit quietly in the village and to enjoy the beauty and nature. So he did not want to go and meet anyone. So when his sister gave him letters of introduction to 2 or 3 people, he was feeling very sad. Then third one, we are doing only A, children. B and C don't want. Third one, here the child's voice lost its self-possessed note and became falteringly human. A, who was the child talking to? The child is the young girl. She was talking to Frampton Nuttall. Then 4, do you know, sometimes on still quiet evenings like this, I almost get a creepy feeling that they will all walk in through that window. A, who does they refer to? They refers to the 3 people. B, why does the speaker mention a creepy feeling? You remember she had made up this story. So when he saw these 3 people coming in through the window, he thought that they were ghosts. And C, did they eventually walk in through the window? Yes, they walked in through the window. They had not gone for 3 years. They had just gone on a hunting trip and they came back soon after the trip was over. Now answer these questions. Exercise D. Why was Mrs. Appleton giving Mr. Nuttall only a fraction of her attention while he was talking to her? Remember, while she was talking to Mr. Nuttall, she was waiting and watching her husband and her brothers coming back from hunting. 2. Who were the three figures who walked in through the window? The three figures were her husband and two brothers. And 3. Why did Mr. Nuttall run at the sight of the three figures? As soon as he saw the three men coming in through the window, he ran away thinking that they were ghosts because he had believed the girl's story. Now 4th one, don't want children. I'll give you the answers 1, 2 and 3. I'll be sending you all the pictures. Now think and answer is there. Number F. What is the reason for Mr. Nuttall moving to the countryside? Do you think the move helped? He was undergoing a treatment for nerve cure and he wanted to have a peaceful time in the village. And did you think the move helped? No, the move did not help because he was upset and frightened in Mrs. Stapleton's house. So I'll be sending you all these pictures. Copy the notes correctly and study it. Read the lesson also. Thank you.